Good evening, my international people. You are listening to Louis Uachu on the You and I Talk Show. Welcome to our show. This is Thursday, March 7th. Is it March 7th? I hope it's March. March 7th, 2013. Okay, so we don't know what date it is because we're going with the moon. Aha. All right. So we're going with the moon, and today we're going to talk about mystical healing with a priestess, and we're going to talk about the moon celebration that they're having. And we're going completely out of politics today. It's going to be interesting. So thank you for being with us. And thank you for tuning in every week. Louis Uacho from Vancouver. Let's bring in our guest right away. Good evening.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Calling you from beautiful Maui over here. I'm so excited to talk to you about the new moon ceremony and our virtual new moon ceremony, which we do a global webcast that is free over the internet, available for live stream viewing on our YouTube channel at every new moon. And it's a powerful and growing experience and show that we're doing. So thank you so much for having me on to talk about it.
Wow, I am so happy. And for once, I am on the moon calendar instead of being like on March 7th. Now, when is this celebration happening?
Our next new moon ceremony is on Monday, March 11th, 2013, which is next Monday. Depends on where you are in the world, actually, because we are doing it 2 p.m. Hawaii time. And if you look around the world, it can be, you might be on the same timeline, or it might be the next day if you're over in somewhere like South Africa or Jerusalem or Nairobi or Tokyo or Sydney. So you're the next day. So you're Tuesday.
Yeah.
But we're syncing up all over the world, and that's the exciting thing about it. Because, you know, we now know, science has shown, it's not just some woo-woo thing that we're creating, but science has shown that when people come together to focus with a common intention, with a common vision and intention, we magnify the manifestation of that intention and make it happen quicker and bigger. And the studies have been shown through different places where they do prayer to help reduce crime rates in cities, and it's been documented that this can happen. So this is new moon ceremony where it's put on by the Black Swan Temple, and our intention is to help to bring about peace on earth. And not only peace, but what does that look like? What is peace? And to us, that is bringing a sustainable, a just, where everyone is fed, everyone is respected and has equal rights. And, you know, we are working on helping to heal and dissolve all those things that have separated us, from racism to violence, to these boundaries and borders, and to realize that we're here on one planet. And we are at a critical time now where we're using up the Earth's resources faster than it can regenerate. And we're going to hit a wall. And there are other ways in living and being that are more regenerative for the planet, and we need to get with those now.
Now, let's start with you, Miss Heather Salmon. How did you become a priestess? I mean, you look too young and too beautiful to be even concerned with spirituality and things like that. So how did you go into it?
That is a very big honor. Thank you. I'm probably a little bit older than you think I am. I'm almost 50, so...
No!
Yes, I'll be 49 in a couple of months. And so as a
Wow.
child of the 60s, my parents were, my mother was a civil rights activist, and my father was Canada's first black surgeon, actually. He was orphaned, the youngest of 6 kids in the 20s, and he went on to become Canada's first black surgeon. And so then they dealt with a lot of things because my mother was mixed, but she could pass for white if she wanted to, but she chose to marry a very dark man. And so in the 50s and 60s, it was a height of uprising to make things different in the world. And I was born into that family. So we were a very, affluent family, and I had wonderful opportunities. I have a degree in commerce and economics from the University of Toronto, and I wound up working for the Toronto Raptors when they had their startup, and worked with Isaiah Thomas and brought the whole World International Basketball Association in the big event that we had in Toronto in the early 90s. And then I was asked to work for the NBA and kind of left that to marry an actor, and Clark Johnson, who's a pretty famous Canadian actor, director. And he had quite the time. I mean, Clark was doing really well, and he was on a big hit show called Homicide: Life on the Street. And so we traveled. We went to hobnob with all the rich and famous, and went to the Cannes Film Festival and all kinds of award ceremonies. And then I found myself in kind of a big depression. And crying every day for a year, and it was like I wasn't felt like something was missing. I wasn't really feeling totally in line or totally fulfilled, and so I really embarked on an inner quest. I knew that from my upbringing that working for the NBA or working for the entertainment business, where we were pushing so much violence in the media, and even working for the NBA, and at that time you're hearing all these kids killing each other over a pair of Nikes, was really the place for me to put my energy. So I began to, I had been on this quest since I was a teenager. I was cleansing and fasting, and always believed that if we were going to find that part of the process of inner happiness was to excavate and release all that wasn't us, all that wasn't me. And so I moved to Los Angeles, actually, because
of all places.
Well, it was a very conscious move for me, because when I was married, all the directors were saying, "Oh, you should be an actress," and blah 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 blah. So I thought I wanted to be more like a Diane Sawyer, so I made a documentary and sold it and got an agent. And then she said, "You need to audition." So I booked about 10 national commercials in my first year of acting and some films and stuff. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to just go to L.A. and parlay this, because I knew that going from Canada to L.A., where, the population is 10 times, that I could make a lot more financially if I was to do this for a while. So I was able to get an agent right away and work right away as an actress there. And I made really good money, and I put all that into studying healing arts. And because I knew that I was interested, I had a vision that, in the future would come a time where we could self-produce things, and that I wouldn't have to compromise my heart or my soul, or really what I wanted to put out there in the world, and that I would be able to help shape and have more, it'd be more accessible to more people. So I studied healing arts, and then I moved to a hot springs, an intentional community in Northern California after 6 years, to really, at Harbin Hot Springs, to really begin to hone my craft, integrating healing and the performing arts. And I became a sound healer, and then I started doing all these new moon ceremonies and getting invited lots of places. And then I met my beloved, and we have a place in Maui, so we moved here, and still having an audience abroad, decided to start this virtual new moon ceremony.
Wow. What a journey.
Yeah.
Wow, what a journey. Congratulations. So, who teaches people how to do healing? I mean, healing seems like a particular thing. Is this person who taught, is it a school? How do they know anything about healing?
Well, I was pretty. I would say I had a gift for healing and energy work, but when I was in LA, I knew that I wanted to get my credentials to kind of back what I naturally had and knew. So I found a teacher when I was living in Los Angeles. Her name was Reverend Lynn Herod de Verges, and she has a church called the Church of the Essenes and the Temple of Light. And she was based in the Crenshaw area, and I found her, and she became one of my teachers, and I studied with her for about 5 years and became an ordained Essene minister. And if you're familiar or not familiar with the Essene Gospel of Peace, it's believed that Jesus and Mary and Joseph and John the Baptist were all Essenes, and that they were mystics and healers and prophets and poets, and they were colonies based in Egypt and then also in Israel. And they often dressed in white, and they were all about cleansing and fasting and purifying and, releasing all that, all excess kind of things to come into our true, authentic, and healthy, vibrant nature. And then I also became an ordained priestess of Isis. When I moved to Northern California, there's the Temple of Isis, and they contacted me and really liked my work and asked me to come and share there. And, so then I also am an ordained priestess of Isis, and I work with Hathors, which through my sound healing and all the beautiful and deities. I mean, there's so much.
I see. That's
so much
really,
comes through nature.
That's really, really interesting. Now, healing. When people talk about healing, people usually know the popular Marvin Gaye song, which is sexual healing. Now, what is mystical healing, and how is it different from every other kind of healing?
Wow, that's a great question. I mean, the mystical alchemy is the name of our sound healing group. Donnie and I started this sound healing work where it's called Mystical Alchemy, and it's our particular blend. Not many people offer what we do. We call it performance healing work when we're working with groups of people. So what we will do is, and in energy healing, like as you know, sexual healing is one aspect of healing. You want to maybe clean out your sacral chakra and deal with and activate your kundalini. But being 7 chakras being the major chakra system, we can hold blockages in any of our chakras. So we do journey work, and I work with the crystal singing bowls, which are really powerful tools to help through vibration and entrainment, they help to cleanse and clear all of our chakras and retune them to optimal health. Like we know that they're using now in medicine lasers. It's the same thing. Laser, light and sound. So everything is light and sound. So crystal singing bowls emit pure frequency, pure tones to help before we need to get into the operating room or laser something off to do this work for ourselves, and I can work with groups and doing it with others. So I didn't even
know that laser was light and sound. So yeah. How is yours different from laser, and why is laser bad for us, and how is yours good for us instead of laser?
Well, laser might not necessarily be bad for us. I mean, if you want to have something, I'm not saying laser is bad for you. If you have a growth or some growth, they might very well use laser to successfully treat it. It's just a lot more intense, right?
Mhm.
You have to go to the doctor's office and have it lasered off, and so, or to the OR and have something burnt off, and that is using light and sound. So this is more of a preventative measure, or before you get in the operating room, to keep us tuned up.
Ah.
Each organ has a frequency, a note, a color, a season that's associated with it. So we're, being our own health practitioner. Heal thyself. Learn about your system. Learn about your body. You can use your own voice to help. Without any of my crystals, I can share with you how to clear blockages just by going inside and breathing into wherever you're feeling a blockage and giving it sound. And you try that for a few minutes until it releases. You'll feel something shift. And then once that thing shifts and opens, you need to fill it up with something good. Law of Vacuum says that there are no empty spaces. So once we release something, you got to set an intention. I am healthy. I am balanced. I am strong. I'm in integrity. Whatever it is, I am love. And nourish yourself with that intention.
Mhm. So speaking of sicknesses that need to be healed, let's say, for example, I had a back problem. Does that mean anything spiritual or mystical? Is the back problem just a back problem, or is it tied to something else?
Well, it could be all of that. When we're looking at healing issues, we need to look at the physical symptom, what it is, where it is. We need to look at so is it your upper back, your mid back, or your lower back? They all have different kind of indicators. We also need to look at your diet. I mean, if you put a clean fish in a polluted tank, it's going to get polluted. So sometimes we need to clean up our environment, right? Sometimes we need to clean up our thoughts. So sometimes we need to clean. So there's different ways, different issues. But if you've hurt your low back, that also might indicate, that you, on a spiritual level, that you're looking for, or you are not feeling as supported as you would like to on some level.
Mhm. And so what would be the solution to that?
The solution to that is recognizing, if it is a spiritual issue, like not feeling as supported as you would like to be in your life, first of all, recognizing that. And second of all, creating space for that to happen. It's like what we do with the new moon ceremony. We do a lot of release work. What needs to be released? What beliefs, thought patterns, belief systems, attitudes need to be released? What needs to be healed? What needs to be forgiven? When you are able to look at that part of the coin, then you can create space to say, okay, I maybe have a fear of being supported. Maybe I'm having some trust issues around not feeling like I've been let down before. So how long are you going to let that run your life? The question. And what is it that you want to bring in? So then you would start working with, okay, I want to strengthen myself. I'm willing to take a risk and open and try, because if we don't, take a risk, and then we never grow. We got to grow and stretch and take risks, or we're just going to be stagnant. That's life, right? So then we can set that intention, and you can also support yourself through sound healing by using your sound to release any of the pain that's being held in there. Once you're able to look at or explore it, okay, so what is that pain about in my back? And once you start giving it sound, you might start seeing images, or memories might start coming back to you. And just giving it sound and releasing it in an authentic way, not trying to make it sound pretty necessarily, really being straightforward with it. Okay, this hurts, it feels scary, and you're just giving it sound, not even, you don't need to give it words. you can find movement in that, which will help to clear and cleanse the space.
Now, when you say sound, is this by playing the Marvin Gaye song or another favorite song of mine? I mean, what kind of sound are you talking about?
I'm talking about the kind of sound without, because you want to be as authentic. You can use Marvin Gaye if you like to try to move it, but I would invite you to just be in a room just by yourself in a safe place or out in nature, and just close your eyes and breathe into it, and then give it a sound, and I'll give you a demonstration, okay, for a moment. So right now I'm breathing into something kind of around the area of my heart, and I'm going to begin to give it some sound, see if I can release it, and you do this as well at the same time. So
okay.
Just notice anywhere in your body that you might be holding tension. And you find a space that you're holding tension or holding something.
Oh, like I said, I have back problems. That's
okay,
where.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's breathe into your back.
Mm-hmm. It may be the chair. It may be the production budget, but you know.
Okay. That's
for
fine
now.
too. I mean, just sitting down, was it just happening when you just sat down, or has this been bothering you for a while?
It's bothering me. Let's not blame the production company.
Okay, great. So now we're going to breathe into it, and then we're going to begin to just give it sound. And I'll give mine sound, and you give yours sound, and the audience can give their area sound, and we'll do this for about a minute, okay?
Okay, I'll be quiet and let you bring out
I want you to
stuff.
make sound.
No, for recording purposes, because, you know, yours is the teacher's sound, so we're going to let your sound come out first.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Yeah, ha. Hey. So there's an example.
Wow. You know, it reminds me of village sounds in Africa.
Really?
Yeah. And, you know, usually people see village people making those sounds and being spiritual, and they laugh at them.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, but it definitely sounded like something. So have you been to Africa, or where exactly does this lead?
I have not. I've been to Morocco, and I have not. You know, so I haven't been to lots of Africa, which I would love to. And this sound is a very way of sound healing, is very shamanic sound rebirthing that I have learned and studied from a couple of different teachers. Karina Sheld and even Tom Kenyon does this kind of sound healing. So now it's a modality called sound rebirthing, pretty much. So once you release those sounds and let go of it, then you can give yourself some nice harmonic sounds, some beautiful, like a lullaby. What do you want to fill yourself with? Some beautiful.
So this is something that you do in private, just so people don't laugh about you or something in this world that we live in, or this is precisely why you guys have a temple? How did the temple come about?
Well, the temple has come about in Maui that we are building. It's almost finished. And then I had a temple when I was living in California as well. And this shamanic sound healing work, I agree, can be some people can laugh at you, which is why I wound up using the crystal singing bowls, because they sound beautiful. So I can get people to do sound healing with me, and I work it in a slightly different way, in a more larger public setting, to help them release, where it sounds like the angels are in the room with us. So nobody's laughing, people are crying, pretty much.
When you say crystal, what are crystals?
What are crystals? Mm-hmm. Crystals, you're familiar with like a quartz crystal, which comes from the earth, mm-hmm. and they're silicon, and we're made up of crystals, really tiny crystals. So these crystal singing bowls are made up of these precious minerals, this crystal, mm-hmm. and it's all crushed and then reformulated into these bowls, which have different notes. So I have the whole scale. Each chakra has a note, starting with C in the root, and then it goes C, D, E, F, G, and F is the heart, and then it goes A, B is the crown. So each has a frequency that it's associated with, and a color. The colors go from the root, the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, indigo, just like the rainbow. That's why I say the rainbow bridge is going to be our path to consciousness, and this rainbow bridge is within us.
Mm-hmm. Now, are those the white balls that I have seen that I have seen in the pictures with you? Those beautiful pictures of you in white and the white balls. Is that it? How many balls do you usually have?
I usually work with a set of 10. I work with the 7 chakra bowls and then plus 3 handheld bowls. And then I have another 5. And there's the other bowls that come in semi-precious crystals. Like you can buy an amethyst bowl now, or a rose quartz, and all kinds of different crystals. Whatever qualities of the crystals, they're making them into the bowls now. They're just very beautiful, but they can be very expensive. And when you're traveling like I do, it's better for me to work with the crystal singing bowls, the white ones.
So if we're made of crystals, how do you know which crystals correspond to which person? Or do all the crystals work on everyone? Or do I have a particular crystal that's not necessarily going to work with you or another person?
We all have, it can also be measured now, the different frequencies of different, like I said, everything is sound and light. We're made up of sound and light. And so they can measure the hertz at which different things resonate. So each organ resonates at a different frequency. Through studies, they found that, each organ generally has a specific frequency. So when we are intending and playing a bowl for that organ, then we can help to heal and strengthen that organ. Just like each chakra has a different note. So we all have all of the notes. We all have all of the frequencies. When you're using it in an intentional way, then it can be very, very powerful to harmonize. Like, we all have a root chakra. We all have all of the chakras, and each chakra has a different frequency, a different note.
Mm-hmm. Now, how does this link into astrology, or it's not connected at all? And how does this link into numerology, or it's not connected at all?
Good question. Well, it's all connected. Each chakra, for example, is associated with a different astrology sign. So if we are working with, let me just get you an example here. If we are working with different seasons or different, then we can work with different chakras. We can focus on strengthening our creativity. We can, we're about to move into Aries, or we're going into Pisces, but then in Aries we're going to be working on, it's a new fire igniting. So that's like the solar plexus. We want to ignite our solar plexus, our strength, our will. And so it depends on which chakra you're working on and which astrology sign we're in. It can get complicated if you're looking at the whole astrology chart, but if you're just doing a general, like I like to move from astrology, just the main, like we're moving into the new moon in Pisces. So then I like to talk about Pisces in general as the overall theme, even though there's other planets influence and other, planets and signs influencing it. It's like moving through the 12 disciples, the 12 houses of the zodiac. So let's understand, first of all, those houses. And then we can get complicated, fancier, and see how they interact together.
Now, is there any one that is more important than the others in terms of working on chakras and healing? Like, which one is the most important to work on?
The one that's most important to work on is going to be the one that you tend to have the most issues with in life. If you're having issues manifesting things and keeping a job and staying positive, then we might want to be working on the root chakra, because that's all about survival, being here in this physical body. If you're feeling like you're not so creative and that you're imbalanced emotionally, like your emotions just run you and something happens and you get triggered and you have a hard time coming back to center, we might want to work on the sacral chakra. If you're not feeling confident in who you are and your ability to focus and create, we'll want to work on the third chakra. If you want to receive more dreams and guidance and open up your intuition, we'll want to work on the sixth chakra, the third eye. If you want to be more fluent in your creative expression and your communication, we'll want to work on the throat chakra. If you want to feel balanced and more connected with everyone and more loving, then the heart chakra. If you want to feel more spiritually guided and connected, then the crown.
Now,
I call this is the year of the heart chakra.
This is the year of
the heart chakra. Because we're in the year of 2013, and this is where this all connects with numerology. You can look at astrology. These all are different symbols for us to kind of, what are the energies? What's the field of energy that we're in now? And so 2013 adds to a 6. 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 3 is 6, right? And 6 in the tarot is the lovers, the masculine and feminine coming together, unifying. And it's governed by the divine law of union. And we see that we can activate that law of union by opening our hearts, because when we open up our hearts, we have more empathy for others. We are kinder, more loving, accepting, tolerant. And these are the things that help to connect us. right?
Now, how come the Chinese say it's a snake year? Where do people get those designations? Why do some people say it's a snake year and then others say it's a heart year?
Well, I believe it's the snake and the heart year, and this is the exciting thing because we are multifaceted. There are many paths to source. There's many paths to enlightenment, and in Chinese astrology, yes, according to Chinese astrology, they have a lunar new year and a solar new year, and it just came in, and now we've moved from the year of the dragon to the year of the black female water snake, which is also about love because it's that feminine energy. So now we can look at the similarities, the commonalities, right? So
it's not just any snake, it's a black female water snake?
That's right.
I thought it was just a snake. I didn't even go into details to find out what kind of snake it was supposed to be.
Yeah. Right. So the black female water snake has her own qualities. She's not just any snake. And it's been the female snake awakening the female energy. And that is also the energy of love. This is the return of the divine feminine, return of that mothering energy that says, okay, we made a mistake. Let's get up, brush ourselves off, and carry on. It's time to forgive and heal, because without forgiveness, then we can't get anywhere. And let's snake that kundalini energy up, connecting all of our chakras, and stop being in victimhood or feeling angry. And we got to slough that off like a snake, let it go, so the new skin can emerge. Who are we really and truly? Are we going to keep carrying these old coats away on? Snakes are great. They're telling us to let go, literally let go of our old skins.
Wow. I can't wait. Tomorrow morning I'm in a new skin. Or as of March 11th.
Every day we can be of a new skin. That's a practice now. So, that's the practice of the new moon ceremony, because the new moon is all about endings and beginnings. The end of one cycle and the beginning of the next. So we want to keep what we've learned, any lessons, and integrate it and let go of anything we no longer need. And nature knows how to do it. You can look at any, fruit tree, and what do? They keep growing, blossoming, budding, flowering, fruiting, and then it falls through the ground. They let go of it all. It doesn't try to hold on. Our issue as humans is we try to hold on, to things. We can't flow with nature. So when we align with the new moons and this energy, we are getting into more of a regenerative, and we can keep going stronger and stronger each year, instead of carrying all this baggage from the past that doesn't really belong to us. Let it go. Let it be composted. The moon tells us that. The snake tells us that. Love tells us that. The heart says forgive, let go.
Wow. Now, how is this applicable to the global world as you see it? You see so much bad news from everywhere. How is this helpful in this society that we live in?
The new moon, the virtual new moon, and these practices are helpful because we are in the only way for us to make a change is to create something, as Buckminster Fuller said, create something so superior it renders the old one obsolete. And in order for us to create something superior, we need to be able to transform and try new ways. And in order to try new ways, we need to be able to, meet our brothers and sisters in an optimistic, positive, solution-oriented kind of field of energy where we can come together and create these new ways, create more sustainable ways of being and living. And as we move forward, we need to have this kind of attitude. We're the rainbow warriors. The prophecy said when the earth is ravaged and the animals are dying, there'll come a tribe of people from all colors, all walks of life, all ages, all classes, and through their actions and words and deeds, they will restore the world to her former beauty, and they will be known as the warriors of the rainbow. And that's us. So, again, we have that rainbow energy. We're talking about the rainbow within us, and we're talking about the rainbow us as we're one family, we're one race, the human race. There's no such thing as different races on this. We're all one race. We're different ethnicities. So when we start getting over all this stuff that we've been created to, and getting over what's that, healing, forgiving, releasing, opening our minds to new ways that, yes, we're one family, we're one planet, and we need to do this thing together now, or, we're basically destroying our planet.
I see. So how come the rainbow in the Western culture is used to represent gay culture?
That's a good question. I'm not exactly sure. I'm sure why they chose the rainbow, but they're part of our rainbow family too. So I think we should all be flying the rainbow flag. And it's time for. We've got enough issues without judging everyone else about their own and making other people wrong. I think it's a beautiful symbol. Let's hop on this rainbow, warrior tribal ways and solve our problems and stop fighting and making other people wrong and raping the earth and creating more sustainable ways. It's part of the reason why we moved to Maui is people are living much more closely with the land here, and it's actually really beautiful. And since I grew up in Toronto, and really appreciate multiculturalism and people of all cultures coming together, learning to live in harmony. Maui's kind of like a little microcosm of that, actually, and people from around the world here, and it's kind of much more sustainable. I mean, the weather's great, we can grow our food, we can live more simply. People have potlucks all the time here, and it's happening. People are wanting to live more. It's like, okay, what do we really need? We really need our great food. We really need great water. We need healthy children. Good. We don't need GMOs. So let's get our priorities straight here and work together, because we recognize that our time is limited.
Yeah. Now, how can people join the celebration? Where is it going to happen? And for people who are not where you are, how can they join and be part of this? And does it require to be a certain type of person, or who is invited to this?
Everybody is invited to the Global New Moon Ceremony. We're doing it at we're webcasting live for free from the Temple of Peace, which is a really wonderful temple started by Reverend Kedar and Shelley St. John, who were just knighted. And so next Monday, when we do it at Temple of Peace here on Maui, it will be broadcast live, and you can go to either the blackswantemple.org, blackswantemple.org, or mysticalalchemy.net, or find us on Facebook, the Virtual Global New Moon Ceremony on Facebook, and it will have take you to the links to watch it live on Facebook, live on YouTube. And so that's great. And this time we have a special guest, a Hawaiian kahuna, a Hawaiian elder named Auntie Pua, who is coming on our show. The intention is to have people from all cultures sharing about peace and sharing about what they think the solutions to peace are. And the Hawaiians, just like I was talking about forgiveness, talk about a practice called ho'oponopono, which means to forgive, to make things right. And they recognize that this is the path to peace. And so Auntie Pua is going to be on the show also talking about aloha. What does aloha really mean? And she says aloha is entitlement for all people. So I'd like to compare and show and see how the similarities across the world, everyone's talking about the same thing. Our elders, the ones who really want to bring peace, there's so many different ways of looking at it. Like you're talking about the snake or the numerology or astrology or Hawaii or African traditions. Let's start recognizing that we can work together now as a rainbow family.
What does aloha mean? I've always found it interesting, and I always think, when you answer the phone, you say hello. I'm thinking you're saying aloha.
I am saying aloha. And you'll have to tune in on Monday to find out directly from our Hawaiian kahuna. She's a big kahuna.
All right.
All right? That's my hook. I'm going to leave
We will definitely be tuning in now on YouTube. How do you live stream on YouTube? That's very interesting. So people can follow while you're doing it, or are these videos that you're going to upload once you're...
You can follow it while we're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting now what you can do. So through Google Plus, Google. If anyone has a Gmail account, you can go to Google Plus, and on Google Plus they have Google Hangouts, and we're Mystical Alchemy on Google. So if you go to our Mystical Alchemy Google Plus channel, you can see it there as well. But they work with YouTube, and so it's kind of like a Skype, but it's even easier because all you have to do, I do all the work, and you just watch. So live broadcast for free, and then it connects with our YouTube channel, and then we broadcast it out.
Wow. Really, really great. So everybody around the world can follow the new moon celebration. Now, the new moon, like we were saying earlier, does the new moon get to Hawaii before it gets to the rest of the world? How does that happen?
No, the new moon comes on at different times, like each new moon. Well, the new moon ceremony does, but the new moon itself, it could happen at 9 a.m. here, which happens at the same time around the world. So we picked 2 o'clock to do our new moon ceremony from Maui because then I think pretty much a lot of people all over the world can kind of tune into us, which was our intention. So 2 o'clock here is 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. in Rio, 2 a.m. in Jerusalem. They got to stay up a little bit. 9 a.m. the next day in Tokyo, 11 a.m. the next day on Tuesday in Sydney, Australia. So we have, once you go to the Black Swan Temple and you look up the virtual new moon ceremony, we have a time zone converter that will tell you exactly what time it will be happening in your area.
Mm-hmm. So people, check it out. The website is the blackswantemple.org, and you also have mysticalalchemy.net.
That's right, .net, exactly.
Yeah, so they can check it out and come and check you. Now, before we let you go, a question that has that new moon, how the new moon is portrayed in some of these vampire movies. Like it's a time when vampires and wolves and all these things, and they're drinking blood, and it doesn't sound very peaceful. Now, how do you see that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's usually around the full moon they talk about that. The vampires coming out and people going crazy. But, it's part of what has been demonized to me from the church when they threw out women from the church and demonized Mary Magdalene and called her a prostitute, and the ways of the sacred feminine, the ways of the priestess. Which we recognize that we are interconnected here, and it's not just, a book we need to read and, a priest we need to talk to, and then we're hooked up spiritually to God. And, we need to have all this intervention with a person of the cloth, so to speak. So it's more of an earth-based tradition. I mean, really recognizing that we're connected with the earth and we're connected with the stars and the moon, and it all affects us. And so that's really what the new moon is about. And our ability, farmers know that you plant on the new moon. You know, you plant certain crops on various new moons. Why is that so accepted? And then when these old goddess traditions have been demonized as, oh, you know, you're blasphemy and you shouldn't be following astrology, that's taking our power away. Why shouldn't we? So very slowly this is being healed now. I mean, it's been taking years. I mean, I've been to, you know, some of the older, even African-American churches and heard the preacher say, don't talk about astrology, that's demonic. Well, that's just fear-based thinking. And any of this, you try it on for yourself, and you see how it works in your life. And if it works, it's great. If it doesn't, then, you know, it's all, no one's trying to tell you what to do. We're inviting you to explore a different way of being and a spiritual practice and practices of manifestation and respecting and connecting more deeply with our environment, each other, the earth, the cosmos. It's also the Essene path of peace. We talk about creating peace begins the sevenfold path. Peace with your body, your mind, the ancestors, your relations, the cosmos. It means having some understanding and relationship with all of this. Going through. Also, though, the energy, to answer your question a little more clearly, when the full moon happens, it does pull the tides, right? We're water beings as well, so it can pull our energy and it can heighten things for us because we're filled with, just like water, 71% water, we're 71% water. So just like women, we tend to often bleed on the dark moon and then be in more of an expansive state on the full moon. You know, it does affect us because the moon does pull the tides. And so if you are not really aware of what's going on with yourself emotionally or spiritually or physically, and the full moon comes and all of a sudden there's more energy coming at you and pulling, kind of expanding you, then you might, you know, turn to violence or some external way to help release the energy. But it's time for us to come into more mastery of all of this because we don't need to be victims. And that was part of the whole, I think, consciousness of, you don't have the power to become mastery or understanding of your own system here. Doesn't make sense. You know, the veils are being lifted now, and we're really seeing what's true and what's possible, and coming into our own avatar, our own priestess, priest, magi, whatever you want to call it, shaman. We are all, one Hawaiian elder said to me, Heather, the path of peace is as people return to their ways as priestess and priest and shaman, mystic, then we're gonna see a change because we are all of that. I'm not, you know, just a priestess and you're not. I embrace that path, and you have your own wisdom as well. That's honor and love to support.
So does this mean that you've given up money in Hollywood and stardom and Canada?
That's a good question. Well, I love I come home to Canada to see my family, and my family's from Jamaica. So I'm hoping to do a nice Jamaica trip soon again with my family. I'm connected with Hollywood. If Hollywood, turns on to the virtual global new moon ceremony, because we've got some great ways to kind of bling it out and make it really exciting. I'm open to collaboration and support and partnership. Get this out. I'd love for they say if the square root of 1% of a population focuses together, it will make a quantifiable shift for the whole planet. That's about 70,000 people. So I would love 1,000 people each new moon. I mean, they get that for TV shows, right?
Yes.
Maybe they want to.
They got that for TV shows, for the Super Bowl, for all these entertainment shows.
Right. So, I've got the training, and so maybe that's our intention, is to grow that to that size.
But if people wake up, they will stop consuming the unnecessary things that they promote. So is it in their interest for people to be this spiritual?
Oh, I think so, because I think there's actually more freedom and more abundance in this kind of spirituality, more fun, more connection. So, hey.
Yeah, but you're not addicted to materialism, and you're not buying anything. You're bad for the economy. Isn't this what they're going to tell you or something? How is this good for the economy is what they're saying.
We have to create a new kind of economy. That's why you're seeing so many women, this whole big trend of, it's International Women's Day tomorrow, right? So we're seeing this whole big trend of women around the world come as social entrepreneurs, because this old masculine paradigm of divide, conquer, and consume is dying. And it's the women who are saying, okay, well, we want to feed our children, our families, and if this is not a good way that we're doing, then let's figure out what the better way is.
All
and
right.
So I always say men want to be where the pretty girls are, and the pretty girls are waking up. So
they better wake up and catch up.
That's right.
All right, Priestess Heather Salmon.
And beautiful.
Yes. Thank you so much for being on the show, Priestess Heather Salmon, and have a great celebration. Please send us the information so we can tune in, so we can also broadcast it on our pages and everything, and then people will know how to tune in. And thank you for being on. Is there something, a last thing that you want to say to your audience before we let you go back to your beautiful Hawaii, and then we will still be in our cold Canada? Thank you for forgetting us. Is there any last thing that you want to say?
Aw. Well, I would love to also share that we do have an online mystery school, and that'll be starting again next month. So also, if you're interested in becoming an ordained priestess or priest, and have some of these mystery school teachings to really help you come into mastery of yourself, then please do visit our website as well. We also have a couple of retreats coming up in California in the summer, and we'll be on tour. So we would love to see you, and I'd love to come up to Vancouver and see you and do some offerings up there. Maybe
we'll do a live video recording when you're in Vancouver.
Yeah, sounds great.
I will be healed by the time you get to Vancouver.
We are all healing and growing. It's a growing and learning opportunity, this year. Be nice and loving to each other, and hold love and forgiveness and high esteem, because this is the energy that we need right now on the planet to make things, to have a planet for future generations.
Yes. So thank you so much, Heather Salmon, for being with us, and please keep in touch. We will let you go now.
Okay, thank you so much. Mahalo, as they say in Hawaii, and aloha.
How do you write that?
Mahalo, Mahalo. It's like thank you. Mahalo, nui loa.
Mahalo. Heather Salmon.
Yeah. How do they say that? And which African country are you from?
I am from Rwanda, and in Kinyarwanda, amahoro is the word for peace. Amahoro. So it kind of sounds a little bit like mahalo, but amahoro, it means peace.
Beautiful. Amahoro.
Yeah.
I'm going to write that down.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Amahoro.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see you soon. Blessings to everybody out there. Aloha.
Yes. Yeah, my international people, aloha, amahoro, mahalo to you wherever you are. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much to our guest, Heather Salmon. Make sure you tune in to their broadcasting soon, March 11th. Get all that great energy coming to you. And always, every week, thank you for tuning in. Now, in the coming weeks, we are going to have a French edition of this show, which is going to be taping special series with very knowledgeable people who are specifically going to bring you Nubi, ancient Kemet, ancient Africa information. So stay tuned for that on Wednesdays in French, coming up in a few weeks, my international people. All right, Louise Uatu from Vancouver. Thank you for tuning in every week. Mura koze, mura muche murotiwana, mura karama.